Please excuse my bad lighting today. I just didn't take time to make myself beautiful as I normally do, but the sound is fine. So we had the Helsinki press conference with Trump and Putin, and man, all hell has broken loose in the world. Wow, it is destined for doom. Well, that's always the way they want to make it out to be. It's not that bad. Now, let me say this. I give Trump kudos when he deserves them. He doesn't deserve one, okay? His performance at this press conference was appalling. I'll say more about that in just a moment. Even more appalling, though, was the actions of the press. I mean, honestly, there is reason for these two leaders to get together. They have, not just 90% of the nuclear power in the world, they're much of the power in the world. And there's some big problems going on that threaten the world. One is that Syrian deal. I mean, we have the refugee crisis that came out of that maybe is the worst in the history of the world. It's still going on. And Russia is up to their neck in this deal. A solution may come from a meeting or two. And then you have the fact that Russia is the primary oil provider to Rocket Man in North Korea, another threat to the peace of the world. Maybe something could happen in this relationship that could, hold that back a little bit. But do you think the press asked anything about those issues? No. You see, the most important issue to the American press, and the only issue, is the 2016 presidential election. That's it. So that's all we heard about. And it's just wrong. Now, back to Trump. His performance, as I said, was just horrible. Okay? I mean, number one, I don't get this bromance with Putin. Russia has been our adversary since Stalin. They still are. So I don't get it. And even worse, I mean, Trump is like the nasty uncle, in your family. Every family has skeletons and secrets, that you got people just doing things they shouldn't be doing. Well, the nasty uncle is the guy that goes out in the town, tells everybody your secrets. And so every time you walk outside, you always feel like you're embarrassed because everybody knows. Well, that's Donald Trump. Now, the left would have you believe that he is a threat to our democracy. No, he's not. He is a result of our democracy. And let me say this, the real threat to the democracy is what's taking place within the federal government and its agencies. Leading the way is the FBI. I am embarrassed that in Washington, D.C., we have the FBI, Department of Justice, IRS back in Obama days. More and more, the federal government is using its power. I mean, all they want to do is bring down a democratically elected president, topple him, cause him to resign, impeach him. Their position is whatever it takes, we're going to bring this democratically elected president down. And the press will just propagandize that narrative every day until the next election. We will never get away from it. You know what? Now that is a genuine threat to democracy. And let me tell you something. The election in 2016 had zero to do with Russia. Of course, they meddled and played. They always do. And others do too. China, Iran. But the election was a result of people voting and the Electoral College seating the president. I just want to remind you, there was a little activity that took place before the election between Trump and Hillary. It was called the Republican primary. There were 16 other candidates. And I got to be honest, if I were a Vegas odds maker, when that first started, I would have said Trump would have ended up, about number 17. Not only did he win, and listen, I voted for Rand Paul, and there were some quality candidates. I mean, Jeb Bush was the epitome of the swamp and the establishment. I mean, Ted Cruz, there was some quality within that group, yet Trump didn't just beat them, he obliterated them, okay? Obliterated the competition. And it wasn't because of Russia. At least I never heard anybody say that it was. And so you have to ask the question, what happened in that Democrat process? Well, glad you tuned in because I know. You see, here's the deal. There is a big chunk of the American people that is so sick and tired and angry and fed up with the federal government, its behavior and how it's using and misusing its power. They just want it to end. And they'll take anybody that can come from the outside that can possibly drain the swamp. And this is going to be shocking to you, but in the general election, Trump was running against Hillary, who, she's the queen of the establishment, the almighty one from the swamp. She was it, and he defeated her narrowly. Now it's shocking to me that she got the votes that she did, understanding the heart of American people. So let me just be real clear. The reason Trump is president is because of democracy. The threat to democracy is an overreaching federal government and its agencies. And the way to save the world and us is to make sure democracy lives.